I'm Ezelle from The Upcoming. Thank you for speaking with us. It's a fantastic film. So first of all, for you, Philip, as a director, you started your career as an actor.
That's right.
Before directing 2 short films, Second Out and Boiling Point. And now this first directorial feature, Villain. Can you tell us a bit about your journey to this point? Because obviously there's a shift from behind the camera to then, from being in front and then to sort of coming behind it.
Yeah. Basically, he couldn't get nowhere as an actor, so he decided to be a director.
No, I mean, you know, when I was acting, I've been acting since a young age. I was always subconsciously interested in everybody's job on the set. You know, why is the cameraman doing that? Why is he using that lens? Why, you know, everybody's job. I was really like a lot of actors would just come in, do the job, and then leave. But for me, I was really interested. And then about 5 years ago, I'd wanted to do it for a long time and never really had the confidence. I always put directors on a pedestal. I'd be like, this is, you know, they're the director. How can I possibly do that, you know? And then about 3.5 years ago, my mum passed away quite suddenly. And everything changed in my life, like everything. And then the following year, I had my daughter. And it just put everything into perspective, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to just go for this. So Seconds Out, it was a script that I'd read before to potentially act in, which is the first short, and I said to the writer, I'd love to direct this. And cut to 12 months later, after a few things, it didn't work out at the beginning, and then some things, you know, didn't work out for them. The producers who were going to do it originally, so it sort of came back to me, and I ended up shooting that, and then I got the bug then, and it was like, okay, this is exactly what I want to do now. And then so yeah, did Boiling Point, and then Villain came about, which is crazy really, because it'd only been about, I think, maybe 12 months or something, and I'd done 2 shorts and then a feature, which is mad. Yeah.
Most people wait 10 years to do that.
Yeah,
that's what I mean, yeah. Very grateful, very grateful.
And obviously for you, Craig, you've played some remarkable roles opposite.
Remarkable?
Remarkable roles. Fantastic.
First I've heard that.
Can you tell us a bit about your character in the film Villain and what drew you to this particular script?
Very simple, really. I mean, I think Phil sort of hit on the nail earlier on. It's the human story at its heart. You know, it's finding characters, you know, finding tough blokes that have got either an Achilles heel or a weakness or some emotional thing, just something to make them interesting, so they're not one-dimensional. And I found that Eddie Franks was that man. You know, he'd done a lot of time in prison, wanted to do the right thing, wanted to better himself, and by doing that, you know, got himself dragged back into a world that he didn't want to be involved in. It was just interesting.
And obviously it's a very character-driven story, but how did you find balancing the themes of violence and emotional connections with the characters?
Oh, well, I think you agree with this. I mean, there is some horrific violence in the film, but it's in context with the story in the film.
It's very, one of the words that we used on set throughout the whole process of making it was, it has to feel real. And quite hard to watch at times, but that's the reality of it. You know, that's the brutality is.
So
real,
many times I said to him, "Was that real?"
Like,
that was real.
I was like, that was real. It's you know, I wanted to sort of for Eddie to be this, have these spurts of violence, but then you feel sort of a bit of remorse or regret at times. You know what I mean, and to make him more human
and we spoke about and we discussed the violence, myself, Phil and Bart, and we sat around, and I was adamant that it had to stay and it had to be at the ferocity it was at, because it was a real turning point once Eddie commits to that act. Do you know what I mean? Then the film, it's like a switch in the movie that starts a whole different path.
It's like the point of no return. Yeah.
And for you, what was it like playing opposite George Russo and kind of having this tense sibling chemistry with him?
George is great. I'd worked with George on another film called London Heist, which was my film. I always rated him as an actor. He's very natural, like me. He tries to keep, I mean, we both discussed this. everything was underplayed, everything was very small, everything was very, you know, just as authentic as we could make it, you know, just to be as believable as we possibly could. And one of the great attributes of the script, I would say, is the fact that, you know, along with Greg Hall, the other writer, George is an Oxton boy, you know, born and bred. He knows that world inside and out. And when I read the script, straight away I knew that it was just beautiful dialogue, wasn't it? Very real.
Real. Yeah.
Use that word again, real, but just flowed off the page, you know.
So Philip, can you tell us a bit about how you shot the film in terms of kind of the location and the aesthetics?
Yeah.
Limit the budget maybe?
Yeah, so we had a relatively low budget for this film, and most of it's set in sort of East London, Shoreditch, Hoxton, all of those areas. And it's sort of quite expensive to film in those areas. So we used other areas of London that could look like that to sort of double for it, and then we do some sort of exteriors. So the pub that we found was I can't remember what it was now, but it was.
Oh, it was over in right over the other side of London, Holston. Yeah, it was a nightmare to get to.
A nightmare to get to,
Yeah,
but it was
the state of it.
Yeah, I mean, when we got there, it was just a shell of a building. Nothing worked in there. So our, you know, production design team, they had, you know, limited resources and money, and they did a fantastic job of turning it into what it is, you know. And for me, I didn't want you just classic boozer pub. I wanted something a little bit different that sort of stood out. And we found this place, and it was great. But we were very lucky in terms of, you know, all the equipment that we got, the camera kit and everything like that, because I've got friends who have an amazing rental company. So we were very lucky, and they really helped us out in terms of all the equipment that we used. We had like the fantastic cameras and anamorphic lenses and stuff like that. My cinematographer, who I'd used on both the shorts, came on board. He's a young lad, Matt Lewis. He's 23.
Such a talented kid.
He's just a genius, right?
Unbelievable.
He's not only like amazing at lighting and you know and shots and that kind of thing. He also understands the story and the characters. So he'll have an input into that as well, you know. And there's always reason behind a camera move. We'd always talk it through extensively, but then, you know, he's just something special, really.
He's just a switched-on kid, and he's very film literate for a young man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, he's a boy. Do you know what I mean? But he's very smart.
Yeah.
Well, you've done some script writing yourself with your son producing London Heist. Is that something you'd want to do more of in the future?
No.
No.
No, too much ag, as I say. Yeah. No, it's forever. It goes on and on and on. And to be honest with you, to do it right, I mean, we were fortunate with that film. Lionsgate bought the movie. That's a reflection of the films that I like, and it looks a lot more on screen. It looks like you know, a lot more than the budget was made for. That's because of talented people, like we said, good DOPs, good actors, good cameras, and people who know what they're doing. But it's brutal, isn't it? I mean, filmmaking is, you know, at that level.
We were literally to the wire every single day, weren't we, on the schedule?
Yeah.
Like Jamie, who was the first AD. I mean, God love him. He had a hell of a job on his hands, because like the schedule every day was packed, and we got through it, right?
We got through it, but you know what always attracts me to these type of projects is the fact of there is no guarantees. No matter how much money you've got hundreds of millions of dollars, all the best cameras, every bit of it, you still make a shit film. and that is that's the truth. Yeah. Because really it boils down to one thing, the script. And we were very, very, very lucky that script was unbelievable. And we had some very good actors, good director, great DOP, and turned out a little gem. Yeah. Literally.
Yeah.
And the film, you know, the ending is just really remarkable and unexpected. What do you think people will take away from the film?
Can't really comment on that. I don't know. I mean, a lot of people have mentioned that to me. Yeah, I love powerful endings. I like dark, powerful endings. You know, on my film, I had a dark, powerful ending. I just love dark, powerful endings. It's the 3 times I've said it.
Yeah.
And
I love dark, powerful endings as well.
Yeah, and it really is. It is. I watched it and for the second time, it just blew me away. I was like,
I think
and she's amazing. I mean, Azuka.
Azuka Hoyle, who plays Chloe,
Oh.
she's something special. Yeah.
That end scene is just
Yeah.
gives me goosebumps thinking about it. Yeah.
It really gets you, doesn't it?
In the original script, she wasn't. The ending wasn't quite like that. I mean, it was still the same ending, without giving anything away. But I just wanted to add a little bit more. The sort of human side to it, and we brought Azuka into the end, sort of the very end, at the last minute sort of thing. But I mean, I have to say that the composers who I use on all of the films that I've done, I got them on this as well, and it just adds something to it, you know, that.
Well, I turned around and I went, we're not making the film, I'm not in the film unless we get them composers.
Yeah, you did, yeah.
I swear to God, I said, I'm walking away tomorrow. Tell me we've got them people. Because we've got no film if we haven't got their style of music.
Yeah.
Because the first thing I noticed with Seconds Out, which always grabs me first, is the music. And oh God, it's great music. It's so atmospheric, it's so moving. It's just stunning.
Yeah. They're also storytellers, you know, so they just, it's just enhancing the film. That's what they like to do, you know.
And final question for you both, what are you working on next?
Well, that's a tough one for me. I never say anything until it's signed, sealed and delivered. I've got a couple of things percolating. I'm just waiting on money, finance again, you know. Unlike this, I'm going to swear then, this geezer. But he starts a film next week.
Yeah, well, I'm in pre-production at the moment on Boiling Point, the feature, actually. And so, yeah, we start shooting, start shooting in March.
Very exciting.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much for
Thank
speaking
you.
to me.
Thanks a lot.
This afternoon.